Jews for Jesus. Jews for Jesus is an international Messianic Jewish nonprofit organization headquartered in San Francisco, California. It was founded in 1970 by Moishe Rosen as Hineni Ministries, before being incorporated under its current name in 1973. The group is known for its proselytism to Jews. Despite its name, it is not considered a Jewish organization by most Jewish authorities. The group promotes Messianic Judaism, a Christian new religious movement. They believe that Jesus is the Christ and the Son of God, unlike mainstream Judaism, which either views Jesus as a good Jewish teacher or strictly a false prophet, and has never seen him as a messianic figure. History. Jews for Jesus was founded by Moishe Rosen, a Baptist minister of the Hebrew Christian movement who was previously a member of the American Board of Missions to the Jews AMJ. The organization was formed in 1970 under the name Hineni Ministries as a subsidiary group of the AMJ. In 1973, Rosen left AMJ and incorporated his ministry as a 501(c) nonprofit organization under the name Jews for Jesus. Originally, Jews for Jesus was simply one of the organization's several slogans, but after the media began to call the group Jews for Jesus, the organization adopted that name. Rosen and followers began conducting community outreach on the streets and college campuses of San Francisco, California. In the following years, branches were established in New York, Chicago, and Boston. In 1978, the Jews for Jesus headquarters relocated to San Francisco, where it remains to this day. In 1981, the organization expanded internationally. According to Jews for Jesus, as of 2021, they have offices in 13 countries and 15 cities around the world. Rosen remained executive director until 1996, when he stepped down to work full-time as a staff missionary. He was replaced by David Brickner, who has held the position since. Rosen remained on its board of directors until his death in 2010. Beliefs. Jews for Jesus claims to have found spiritual harmony between Jewish heritage and the Christian faith. They believe that faith in Jesus is a viable expression of Jewish life. The organization summarizes its beliefs in a statement of faith. The Torah, the writings, the prophets, and the New Testament are divinely inspired, without error, and are the final authority in all matters of faith and life. Traditional Jewish literature is valued, especially where it is supported by Scripture. There is one sovereign God, existing in three persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. They believe that this concept is rooted in Judaism. Mankind was created in the image of God, but due to sin, has been separated from the Creator. Jesus is the Messiah and died for the sin of mankind as a substitutionary sacrifice. All who believe in him have salvation. The Church is an elect people in accordance with the New Covenant, both Jews and Gentiles who acknowledge Jesus as Messiah. Meaning, Jesus will return in order to fulfill the Jewish prophecies of the Messianic era. After the Messiah's return, there will be a resurrection of the dead. Those who accept the Messiah will have everlasting communion with God, and those who do not will be eternally separated from him. Operations. Jews for Jesus is a registered 501(c) that employs approximately 250 staff worldwide. Its headquarters is located in San Francisco, California, and has offices in New York City, Los Angeles, Toronto, Sydney, Johannesburg, London, Berlin, Paris, Budapest, Tel Aviv, Kiev, Odessa, Moscow, Jerusalem, and more. Once well known for their distribution of hand-drawn and punny religious tracts, today Jews for Jesus conducts community engagement through wider means. Examples of their outreach methods include Jewish holiday events, one-on-one and group Bible studies, service projects, internet evangelism, and multi-purpose spaces such as the Moishe Rosen Center in Tel Aviv and the Upside Down Cafe in Los Angeles. Funding and organization. Jews for Jesus income comes primarily from Christian donors. The nonprofit's annual income breakdown is as follows: 87% individual support, 5% miscellaneous revenue, 5% congregational support. Their annual expenditures are as follows: 77% outreach. According to the Evangelical Council for Financial Accountability, the group's total income in FY 2018 was US $24,767,732 and total assets were $39,596,245. They are a charter member of the Evangelical Council for Financial Accountability and are also members of Missio Nexus. Donations are tax deductible. An independent auditing firm, Hoff Accountancy, conducts the organization's annual audit. Jews for Jesus is governed by international boards of directors in the United States, Canada, South Africa, Australia, Israel, and Europe. The CEO, a position currently filled by David Brickner, is advised by an executive leadership team consisting of 7 members. Public perception. Jewish. Jews for Jesus has a contentious relationship with the Jewish community, and their methods have generated controversy. Many Jewish authorities, as well as the governing bodies of the State of Israel, hold the view that Messianic Judaism, the religious movement which Jews for Jesus is affiliated with, is not a sect of Judaism, but a form of evangelical Christianity. Additionally, Gentiles who convert to Messianic Judaism are not recognized as Jewish by any Jewish sect. However, Jews for Jesus says they cannot support any efforts by Gentile believers to convert to any type of Judaism. Belief in Jesus as deity, Son of God, or even a non-divine Christ/Messiah or prophet as in Islam, is held as incompatible with Judaism by most Jewish religious movements. However, there has been some debate of that point by Jewish scholars. Daniel Boyarin, a Jewish historian of religion and professor of Talmudic culture at UC Berkeley, writes in one of his books, "Most, if not all, of the ideas and practices of the Jesus movement of the 1st century and the beginning of the 2nd century and even later can be safely understood as part of the ideas and practices that we understand to be Judaism. The ideas of Trinity and Incarnation, or certainly the germs of those ideas, were already present among Jewish believers well before Jesus came on the scene to incarnate in himself, as it were, those theological notions and take up his messianic calling." Dan Cohen-Sherbach, a rabbi of Reform Judaism and professor of Jewish theology at the University of Wales, implies that Messianic Judaism should be embraced in the Jewish community. The non-Orthodox rejection of Messianic Jews is more difficult to comprehend given the multidimensional character of contemporary Jewish life. There is simply no consensus among non-Orthodox Jews concerning the central tenets of the faith, nor is there any agreement about Jewish observance. Instead, the various branches of non-Orthodox Judaism embrace a totally heterogeneous range of viewpoints. In a 2013 Pew Forum study, 60% of American Jews said that belief in Jesus as the Messiah was not compatible with being Jewish, while 34% found it compatible and 4% did not know. A 2017 survey that included Messianic Jews found that 21% of Jewish millennials believe Jesus was God in human form who lived among people in the 1st century. An additional question on faith in the survey found that 14% of participants identified with Christianity and 10% believed in a hybrid of Christian and Jewish beliefs. In 1993, the Task Force on Missionaries and Cults of the Jewish Community Relations Council of New York JCRCNY issued a statement, which has been endorsed by the four major Jewish denominations: Orthodox Judaism, Conservative Judaism, Reform Judaism, and Reconstructionist Judaism, as well as national Jewish organizations. Based on this statement, the Spiritual Deception Prevention Project at the JCRCNY stated, on several occasions leaders of the four major Jewish movements have signed on to joint statements opposing Hebrew Christian theology and tactics. In part they said, though Hebrew Christianity claims to be a form of Judaism, it is not. It deceptively uses the sacred symbols of Jewish observance as a cover to convert Jews to Christianity, a belief system antithetical to Judaism. Hebrew Christians are in radical conflict with the communal interests and the destiny of the Jewish people. They have crossed an unbridgeable chasm by accepting another religion. Despite this separation, they continue to attempt to convert their former co-religionists. The director of a counter-missionary group, Torah Atlanta, Rabbi Ephraim Davidson, stated that the Jews for Jesus use aggressive proselytizing to target disenfranchised or unaffiliated Jews, Russian immigrants, and college students, and that their techniques are manipulative, deceptive, and anti-Semitic. Christian. Some Western Christians object to evangelizing Jews because they see Jewish religious practice as valid in and of itself. Some liberal Protestant denominations that have issued statements criticizing evangelism of Jews include the United Church of Christ and the Presbyterian Church USA, which said in 1988 that Jews have their own covenant with God. The Board of Governors of the Long Island Council of Churches opposes proselytizing of Jews and voiced these sentiments in a statement that noted with alarm the subterfuge and dishonesty inherent in the mixing of religious symbols in ways which distort their essential meaning, and named Jews for Jesus as one of the three groups about whom such behavior was alleged. Leighton Ford, former vice president of the Billy Graham Evangelical Association and current president of Leighton Ford Ministries, supports the work of Jews for Jesus. The first followers of Jesus were all Jews, women and men, so touched and changed by him that they had to tell their friends and neighbors. In 2003, the sponsorship of Jews for Jesus by All Souls Church, Langham Place, a conservative evangelical church in London, with a launch event on Rosh Hashanah launching a UK mission targeting the Jewish community, led to the Interfaith Alliance UK, a coalition of Jewish, Christian, and Islamic religious leaders, issuing a letter of protest to the Archbishop of Canterbury. The Interfaith Conference of Metropolitan Washington includes Muslims, Jews, and Christian groups. The conference states that they support the right of all religions to share their message in the spirit of goodwill. However, Reverend Clark Lobenstein has condemned the proselytizing efforts of Jews for Jesus and other Messianic Jewish groups. His wording matched the conference's 1987 statement on proselytism, which makes claims against groups that have adopted the label of Hebrew Christianity, Messianic Judaism, or Jews for Jesus, so it is unclear which claims are directed at Jews for Jesus in particular. America's Religions. An Educator's Guide to Beliefs and Practices contains a note about Jews for Jesus, Messianic Jews, Hebrew Christians, and similar groups. Jews in these groups who have converted to Christianity but continue to observe various Jewish practices are no longer considered part of the Jewish community in the usual sense. There are several other organizations that oppose identification of Jews for Jesus as a Jewish group. Litigation. 1987, Freedom of Speech. In Board of Airport Commissioners of Los Angeles v. Jews for Jesus, Inc., The Supreme Court unanimously ruled in favor of Jews for Jesus in a free speech case against the Los Angeles International Airport. 1998 and 2005-2006 online name. Jews for Jesus has been involved in litigation regarding Internet use of its name. In 1998, they successfully sued Stephen Brodsky for cybersquatting, registering the domain name Jews4Jesus.org for a site criticizing the organization. The domain now belongs to Jews for Jesus and is used for their main site. In 2005, Jews for Jesus sued Google for allowing a Blogspot user to put up a site at the third-level subdomain Jews4Jesus. Blogspot.com. In September 2006, Christianity Today reported that Jews for Jesus settled out of court with a critical blogger identified as whistleblower on Jews for Jesus. Blogspot.com. The evangelistic ministry assumed control of the site. 2006 misuse of Jackie Mason name. In 2006, comedian and actor Jackie Mason filed a lawsuit against Jews for Jesus, alleging that they unlawfully distributed a pamphlet which used his name and likeness in a way that suggested he was a member of the group. In fact, Mason is Jewish and not associated with Jews for Jesus. Jews for Jesus issued a detailed response to the allegation on their website. A judge of the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York denied a preliminary injunction against Jews for Jesus over the pamphlet, finding the distribution of the pamphlet to be protected by the First Amendment, and also stated that the pamphlet did not suggest that Mason was a Christian. In December 2006, Mason dropped the lawsuit against Jews for Jesus after they issued a letter of apology to him. The group's executive director, David Brickner, stated in the letter to Mason that he wanted to convey my sincere apologies for any distress that you felt over our tract. Brickner continued that he believed its publication was protected by the Constitution, but the group was willing in the interest of peace and love for Israel to retire the pamphlet. Mason replied in front of the federal court in Manhattan, where he accepted the apology. There's no such thing as a Jew for Jesus. It's like saying a black man is for the KKK. You can't be a table and a chair. You're either a Jew or a Gentile. That Jew died for you video. In 2014, Jews for Jesus published a 3-minute YouTube video called That Jew Died for You to coincide with Passover, Holy Week, and Holocaust Remembrance Day on 28 April. A long-haired Jesus dragging a large wooden cross appears in the film until an Auschwitz extermination camp guard sends him to the gas chambers and says just another Jew in German. Jews for Jesus said that the objective of the film was for Jesus to be identified with the victims rather than the perpetrators of the Holocaust, and that the Holocaust has been used perhaps more than any other event or topic to prevent Jewish people from considering the good news of Jesus. J. Michelson, writing in the Jewish Daily Forward, described it as the most tasteless YouTube video ever and wrote, "Not to state the obvious, but it desecrates the memory of 6 million Jews to use their suffering as a way to convert Jews to Christianity." Fox News Channel and History refused to play an advertisement for the film. References in popular culture. Interiors 1978 film. Airplane. 1980 film. The New Yorker, 25 October 2004. Roz Chast. Oral 2005-2012 Adult Swim animated series. In Her Shoes 2005 film. Esquire Magazine, 2014.